It all began with a troubling call to 911. A psychiatrist contacted the police to report that the son of some friends was experiencing severe mental health issues. His condition was deemed dangerous not only to himself but also to those around him. Consequently, the psychiatrist urgently requested that the police dispatch several officers to his residence and transport him to a psychiatric facility for evaluation. Fortunately, there was a specific police code for such situations, a code that required a prompt response. However, despite the urgency of the matter, the officers who arrived at the scene took it lightly. They dismissed the situation as trivial and left, unaware that their negligence would have dire consequences. Trevor J. Heitmann, a hitman from San Diego, California, was born on February 18, 2000. He was the eldest of Brita and Kurt Heitmann's two sons. His younger sister was his closest friend, and their bond was nearly perfect. Trevor was known for being introverted, shy, and well-mannered. He avoided trouble and consistently associated with the same group of friends he had since childhood. They shared the same classes, schedules, interests, and hobbies. The group grew up in Carmel Valley, a picturesque suburb known for its semi-detached houses. Basketball was their great passion. Trevor played the sport relentlessly, and his enthusiasm led him to join the team at Yola Country Day School. His parents, recognizing his love for the game, installed a basketball hoop in the front yard of their home, facing the garage. Naturally, this encouraged his friends to visit frequently. He was never a particularly popular boy. As previously mentioned, he had only 4 close friends and showed little interest in expanding his social circle. However, around the ages of 14 and 15, his interests began to shift. He discovered the world of video games and spent increasing amounts of time in his room, exploring the internet. Trevor's friends had started playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, commonly known as CS for those unfamiliar. CS is a first-person shooter video game with features that captivated its fans. Players could interact with various elements in the game, such as accelerating vehicles to their maximum speed. Another notable aspect was the customization of weapon skins. These skins allowed players to personalize their weapons, with a single knife, for instance, available in up to 3 different designs. While these skins did not impact the weapon's functionality or lethality, some were exceptionally rare and highly sought after. This created a financial ecosystem within the game where players could trade and purchase skins with real money. In-game packs, which were randomized, could contain any type of skin, whether rare or common. Players could buy these packs, and the excitement of opening them and discovering the contents fueled a market for skin trading. Trevor became fascinated by this virtual economy and was eager to learn more about it. However, when he searched for information on YouTube, he found a lack of comprehensive videos on the subject. He searched extensively but found no existing content on the subject. Determined to fill this gap, he decided to create his own video. On April 22, 2015, under the alias McSkillet, he published CS. Top 10 Most Expensive and Rarest Skins of 2015. Leveraging his extensive experience with the game, he crafted a video that perfectly aligned with the interests of the community. Despite being his first video, it rapidly surpassed 1 million views. This overwhelming response left him astonished and motivated him to start producing more content. He began sharing his own gameplay videos, where he offered commentary and tips. His channel's popularity grew exponentially, and within a few months, he amassed 500,000 followers. As his viewership increased, brands took notice, leading to collaborations and sponsorships. Many of these partnerships were with companies related to CS, but we'll revisit this aspect later. By the age of 15 or 16, he had secured a well-paying job through his video content. His parents, initially skeptical of video games as a waste of time, were now astounded to see their son earning a living while spending his days in his room playing games. For them, this was a significant achievement. This marks the beginning of the most complex part of the story, which is challenging to fully grasp and explain. In 2017, Trevor realized that while gameplay videos generated income, content featuring skins attracted even more attention. Playing the game alone drew viewers, but showcasing skins significantly increased traffic. He discovered that the game lacked a regulated system for buying and selling skins. Although players could obtain skins through packs and trades, they could also buy them from various external sites. Recognizing the potential for profit, he decided to enter this market. At just 17 years old, Trevor created his own website, allowing users to purchase skins directly. In November 2017, he launched CS Magic. Initially, it seemed like a promising venture, and Trevor began to earn substantial revenue. However, his vision extended beyond mere profitability. He actively promoted his site, attracting a large following. Within a few months, he became a millionaire. According to various sources, between April 2015 and December 2017, Trevor generated over $10 million, with $4 million of that total earned in just 10 months. With such an influx of money, he found himself unsure how to spend it. He hired a personal trainer and purchased a McLaren, which he proudly displayed in his driveway, eager for everyone to see. On December 13, 2017, he posted a video on his channel showcasing his new car. This content marked a departure from his usual gameplay and skin-related videos. Although he had initially focused on gaming, he now wanted to flaunt his success. Unfortunately, in 2018, Trevor's fortunes were set to change. He became embroiled in a controversy concerning the dangers associated with the game. Many people were spending significant amounts of money on random boxes, trades, and skin purchases, sparking widespread concern. The skin craze had spiraled out of control, and CS had no effective regulation in place. People were buying skins from various external sites, resulting in widespread chaos. In response, the platform decided to impose limits and take charge of managing transactions, which, from a regulatory standpoint, made perfect sense. Initially, Trevor thought this development might not come to fruition. Although he was slightly concerned, it didn't deter him. On March 20, 2018, he posted a video as if nothing had changed. However, just 9 days later, the community rules were updated, leading to the immediate shutdown of his website. This was a significant setback for Trevor. Despite having millions in the bank, a McLaren, and a supportive family and friends, he struggled to cope with this blow. He even contemplated abandoning everything. Feeling utterly defeated, he decided to withdraw from social media, ceasing all YouTube activity. On Twitter, he updated his bio to reflect his retirement from multiple websites and YouTube, despite having over 850,000 followers. His fans were baffled by his sudden disappearance and the shocking change in his online presence. Meanwhile, Trevor's family began to notice increasingly strange behavior from him. His behavior gradually deteriorated. He became increasingly withdrawn, cold, and distant. He would spend hours alone in his room, lacking motivation for anything. Despite his family's efforts to encourage him to engage in activities, he remained unresponsive. On August 18, 2018, Trevor finally opened up to his parents. He confessed that he was experiencing a mental breakdown and could not comprehend what was happening to him. He admitted that he felt something was deeply wrong with him and revealed a concerning incident. He had driven on a road with an 80 km/h speed limit at 200 km/h, a speed limit at 200 km/h in the opposite direction. While some sources claim the limit was 50 km/h and others suggest he was driving even faster, the critical issue was that he was driving at an excessively high speed. Trevor's parents were stunned and struggled to believe his account. They scolded him, emphasizing that such reckless behavior was unacceptable. Trevor's response was alarming. "I can do it." This reply only heightened his father's anxiety. He urgently explained to Trevor that his actions were dangerous to himself and others, warning that if the police caught him, he could face severe consequences. Trevor responded by saying, "Neither the police nor their bullets can harm me." His parents were deeply concerned as he spoke with a disconcerting detachment, making references to speeding through traffic like in the game. His mannerisms and expressions further alarmed them. They decided to seek help from a friend and neighbor who was a psychiatrist. They requested her to visit their home and assess Trevor's condition. After a brief evaluation, she confirmed that there was indeed something troubling about Trevor's mental state and advised them to be very cautious. Although she did not find anything immediately alarming, she would not be able to see him again until a few days later. On August 23rd, Trevor had a relatively peaceful night, but early in the morning he woke up screaming and shouting. He was abusive, cursing, and making aggressive noises. When his parents went to his room, he began to threaten his mother, expressing intentions to harm her. He also accused his sister of harassing him, claiming she was hiding in his room, laughing at him, and watching him. This accusation was particularly troubling since his sister was away at college, many miles from home. It became apparent that Trevor was experiencing hallucinations. He expressed a desire to get into the car and drive at high speed. The parents attempted to calm him down and eventually succeeded in soothing him enough for him to fall back asleep. At this point, they took two crucial actions. The first action taken by Trevor's father was to remove the car keys, drive the McLaren out of the garage, and park it prominently in front of the house to prevent Trevor from using it. Secondly, they urgently called the psychiatrist. When she arrived and was briefed on the situation, she decided that immediate intervention was necessary. At 8:30 in the morning, she personally called 911. Before continuing, it's important to understand the legal context. Under the 5150 law enforcement has the authority to detain someone involuntarily for a 72-hour psychiatric hold if they are deemed a danger to themselves or others. In many cases, merely claiming someone is unwell is insufficient. However, Trevor's condition was severe and posed a real threat. According to attorney Kenneth Rosenfeld, police officers are not mental health professionals. They are trained to respond to situations to the best of their ability. When someone's behavior is significantly erratic, it can be prudent to take them into custody. When the officers arrived, they did so with apparent calm, activating their body cameras. They approached the parents to inquire about the situation. Upon noticing the McLaren in the driveway, their focus shifted, and they began to scrutinize the car. The officers asked about the McLaren, and the father explained that it belonged to his son, who had earned a substantial income from his job. The agents initially treated this information as a joke, laughing dismissively. The father quickly redirected the conversation back to the urgent issue at hand, his son's troubling behavior. When the psychiatrist arrived, the officers inquired whether she had treated Trevor. She responded that she had not. After a few more questions, they concluded that, without a prior evaluation of the boy, there was nothing they could do. The family pleaded with the officers to intervene, but their response was unhelpful. They offered two options. The family could either take Trevor to the nearest hospital for evaluation, or, given Trevor's threats towards his mother, she could file a restraining order at the police station. They warned her that the restraining order would not be enforced for at least a month. After the police left, the family was at a loss. The mother, in a state of shock, remained downstairs while the father and psychiatrist went back to Trevor's room. Once there, Trevor woke up and began to scream, grunt, and hurl insults at the psychiatrist. In response, the father and the psychiatrist attempted to restrain and calm him down. After a few minutes, Trevor fell asleep, but the situation remained critical. The father and psychiatrist decided that once Trevor woke up, they would take him to the nearest hospital. Despite their intention, they never got the chance to act on it. At 4:15 in the afternoon, while the parents were downstairs, Trevor emerged from his room, dashed down the stairs, and jumped into the McLaren. He accelerated to full throttle, crashed into his father's car, shoved it aside, and sped off. Trevor drove to a nearby elementary school, specifically Ashley Falls. He arrived at around 4:23 p.m., maneuvered around an iron gate, and entered the parking lot. He also accessed a secluded play area where children usually played. Fortunately, no classes were in session at that time, so there were fewer children present. However, Trevor began speeding around, performing spins and frightening people. Several bystanders took out their cell phones to record the chaotic scene. A man approached the vehicle, but Trevor ignored him and continued his reckless behavior. He sped towards some children, frightened them, and then crashed through another door before driving off. During this incident, there were two 911 calls. The first was from Trevor's father, who was desperate for intervention. Earlier that morning, he had pleaded with the police to take action and have Trevor evaluated, but his pleas had been ignored. The officers had ignored the father's desperate pleas, and shortly after, Trevor had left the house, crashed into the McLaren, and driven away. The second call came from terrified witnesses at the school who were baffled by the unfolding chaos. The police, unable to comprehend the situation, dispatched several patrols to both the school and Trevor's home. In the midst of this, Trevor was involved in an accident at 4:30 p.m. He collided head-on with another vehicle, driving in the wrong direction at an excessive speed. Miraculously, no one was injured in this crash, but Trevor fled the scene. 911 was called once again, and police arrived to investigate, but Trevor was nowhere to be found. Trevor was now several steps ahead of the police, driving recklessly on the freeway, specifically the 805 freeway, which had limited visibility due to a bridge and a sharp curve. At high speed, he crashed into a Hyundai van. Inside the van were a 43-year-old woman and her 12-year-old daughter, both of whom, along with Trevor, were killed instantly. The crash, according to the media, was a horrifying event that left an indelible mark on the road. The impact was so violent that the seatbelt was torn apart, causing parts of Trevor's torso to be thrown out of the vehicle. Out of respect for the victims, the results of the autopsy were not published. The victims were two beloved members of the community, Aileen Pizarro and her younger daughter, Ariana. Aileen, 43, a mother of 3, was a therapist specializing in families and children with severe trauma. She was a frequent churchgoer and was always ready to help those in need. Additionally, she planned to obtain a higher degree and pursue more extensive training. Interestingly, she was a big fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who sent his condolences to the Pizarro family after the tragedy. "She did everything for us. She raised us and our grandfather. She was selfless, never thinking of herself," said Dominic Pizarro, Aileen's son. Meanwhile, 12-year-old Ariana was about to start 7th grade. She was a very intelligent and ambitious girl with many dreams. She aspired to become a jazz singer and, in fact, sang and performed with her older siblings. Everyone said she could sing any pop song on the radio, but she knew Billie Holiday as well as she knew Bruno Mars. The worst part of the case was that the Pizarro family sought justice. However, a conflict erupted between the police and Trevor's family. The police blamed the family for the incident, while the family accused the police of negligence. Trevor's autopsy revealed no illicit substances in his system, no alcohol, no drugs, and he had no medical or psychiatric history. He had never suffered from depression or addiction. Based on the autopsy and the events leading up to the accident, psychiatrist Clark Smith suggested that Trevor might have been bipolar with manic tendencies. He explained that mood swings can range from feeling like king of the world to crashing into severe depression. Smith believed Trevor's mental state deteriorated due to setbacks, including losing his business and source of income, which may have triggered his extreme reaction and deepening depression. In such a case, one might consider charges of involuntary manslaughter or second-degree murder. However, the judge ruled it as an accident and closed the case as such, which seemed outrageous to the family. Unfortunately, no further information is available. So now it's your turn. What do you think about the case? Do you believe it could have been avoided? Well guys, that's the end of today's video. I sincerely hope you found it as interesting as I did. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and a comment below, along with your answer to the question of the day: do you think this case could have been avoided? See you in the next video. Bye.